Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek at Old Pueblo Coin, and today I have a little group of Morgans that I just bought in, and we're going to see what we can see on these guys here. So 1878, first year of issue for the Morgan dollar. Really, of course, a lot of very strong struck coins in that series because you had your first dies, right? I mean, but they did make a lot of coins that year, and you'll notice, of course, we got the CC mint mark. And one of the things that always fascinated me with the 78s and some of the 80s there is that tiny little CC that they had on those first years. They were just so small. And this coin's really nice for the coin. I will say that generally speaking, it is hard to get high grade 78 CCs, mostly because of the way these coins are struck. They have just a real, almost like a matte finish to a certain extent over in the fields, and you'll see a lot of them with chatter. And some of the 80s have a similar look to them. This is PCGS MS65. This is approximately a $2,000 coin. Really, really tough to get in high grade. You know, it's a coin that they made a lot of, though. I mean, they made 2.2 million of them, and you just wonder how many could have survived. You're a lot more likely on these 80 cc's to see them, or pardon me, those 78 cc's to see them look a little bit like this 80 cc, where you have a lot of chatter throughout the surfaces. You know, something that's going to bring the grade down to more of an average grade. You know, just a nice, brilliant, uncirculated coin, but with a lot of chatter to it. Fields aren't too bad, especially on the back. That field's pretty clean, but overall, you know, you're kind of your typical uncirculated Morgan dollar. MS63, which is what you'd expect from a coin that is fully lustrous and has a lot of contact marks to it. Now the 80cc, they only made 495,000 of these guys. They're very scarce, and as far as the overall mintage goes, one of the lowest mintage. There's actually not that many coins with mintages under $1 million. Pardon me, I was going to say under $500,000. I think there's only about a dozen coins or so. 690, not too bad on that guy. Nice looking coin. Then you move along and you hit the 81. Now see, this is interesting because this 81 has actually a similar look that you'd expect to see out of 78. There's just something about that finish, that kind of almost matte finish that the 81s had. And interesting, and sometimes I just wonder about how much that has to do with the different dyes that they used. Because there's a lot of dye traveling, shall we say, back and forth on these coins. So dyes from one mint would get used or reused or shipped over, and then just throw that CC on there for us. You can use that. I just want to show you the difference on the Carson Cities, the CCs, between that first year here, how small those C's were. The cute little tiny C's. I'm pretty sure they just took the die from the $50 and then stamped them on there versus these guys here, which are much bigger. Your 81cc is also really scarce as far as population goes. This is a nice looking MS64. I really like this coin actually. The fields are super clean. You do have some contact on the cheek that probably keeps it from being a 5, but the fields are extra nice, I think, on that coin. And of course the reverse is, as always, pretty lovely. So they made less than 300,000 of these guys, and I still consider them to be somewhat of a value. What you ended up seeing was you had certain years of these dollars that just didn't really circulate much, and were actually kind of hoarded, so they're more available in the marketplace. So you'll see that lots of times in coins where you see coins with much higher mintages, and maybe they had some type of a melt issue, or you know they melted a bunch down, or something like that, or it was during a time when the coins circulated heavily, depending on the economy. 82, this is a little bit older generation PCGS holder, MS65. Pretty lovely coin overall. It actually is pretty comparable to that 81 that we looked at. You get into these early 80s, the 82, 3, and 4, the most common years. Partially they're really common because of the mintage, but partially because of the hoards that were dispersed by the federal government through the GSA program, in that most of these coins had mintages of 1.1, 1.2 million, and but always and ever popular. This is the older holder. I don't have a. Oh, I do. That's about 550 on that guy. can't pay attention to my own stuff. I actually had two 82s in this set, and so you can get kind of a good feel for just what a nice, how it's nice how lustrous these are. You know, when you get hoarded coins, you know, one of the nice things about CCs for the most part, it's got a little bit of some schmutz on the back there. You know, a lot of these coins are very original. You know, some people ask about coins being dipped and dollars being dipped. You know, but a lot of them, especially if you see coins that had kind of hoards, you get to see what a real nice original finish should look like on a coin. So that is currently in this market about a $400 coin on this one that's a little bit lower grade. Moving right along to the 83. You know, just at a glance, you'd say that this coin is a little bit comparable to the last coin. Maybe the field's a little stronger, maybe a fewer hits, and the reverse is really quite lovely. You do have some contact marks throughout, but those reverses on these coins, I think I'll never get used to seeing or sick of saying or commenting on the fact that the reverses on these are always so much nicer than the obverse. You know, it's always amazed me that you can see a coin with contact marks on one side and the other side looks almost perfect. Yeah, this is NGC graded MS65. Also, this is about a $500 coin in the current market. Now, 83, 84. I don't have an 84 on hand here. I do have an 85. Now, 85 to me is one of the more interesting coins in the marketplace because you're talking about a coin that had a mintage of only 228,000 pieces. Excuse me. Now, that is something that is, by Morgan standards, really, really a low mintage. You know, your 93S is, of course, the toughest coin in the series with a mintage of 100,000. But some of your other coins that have much higher price points than 85 cc's, you know, your 95S and 95O, both with 400 to 450,000 minted. Your 99 Philly, only 330,000 minted. And of course, this goes back to what I was saying before, that, you know, certain coins were hoarded and became available later on, you know, sometimes decades or centuries later. I said centuries, I didn't mean centuries because, you know, 1885, unless these coins came out in 1985, but they didn't. Unless you're a big conglomeration and you can pretend that you just bought a hoard and just make up a story. All right, MS64. Nice coin, by the way. I really like that one. That's I think I would take this 85 on the right over this 83 on the left. I mean, grade for grade, but mind you. Like if these two coins had the grades covered up, I would definitely pick this 85 as a nicer coin. This guy currently is about $850 on the marketplace, in the marketplace. Of course, now they didn't make any CCs for a while then, 86, 87, 88, none of those. Then you jump up, you get into the 89s, which they had 350,000, but those are super rare, even though their mintage is comparable to the 85. It's been centuries, folks. I can't wait to find my own hoard. You jump up into the 91. It's really interesting. 90, 91, 92, 93. You know, you have a lot of these have mintages. The 90s, the early 90s, the 90, 91, 90, the mintages of like 2 million. This is like 1.6 million. You know, the 93, which is really scarce, has 617,000 produced. But these ones are really tricky because I see a lot of 90s and 91s circulated. I see very few of them uncirculated, and their price points tend to reflect that, right? When you see them in the marketplace, uncirculated examples are pretty scarce. This one has quite a few little contact marks on the reverse and the obverse as well. 63, that's I think a pretty good grade for the coin. It is a typical uncirculated coin, something that on that specific date, well, anyways, for this Morgan, you're going to see with that many contact marks, a 63 is a good grade. Just shy of $1,000 on a coin like that. Once again, the scarcity of that versus like the 85. And once again, price points are interesting, right? Because between these two coins, like if I went to a show, I'd probably see a whole lot of 85s uncirculated and almost no 91s uncirculated. A little bit of a hyperbolic speech, but still, you won't see anywhere near as many 91 cc's uncirculated at a show, and the price points aren't too far off. Alright guys, so leave your comments down below. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Ben the Coin Geek. You can subscribe by clicking on the owl button in the corner and watch more videos on the right side of the screen. Thanks.